Hi Cancer, welcome to your love reading for July 2019. This is Elizabeth from channelguidance.com. I've already shuffled the decks and you did have one jumping card, so let me show you what that is. The card that jumped for you is the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune can definitely represent there is a lot of change in your love life in the month of July. This can especially mean that if you've been struggling, that you're able to get past those struggles. This always represents change for the better, but of course the Wheel of Fortune also represents luck. So this could be a very lucky time to meet a new partner. This could be a very lucky time to mend a relationship or to mend a marriage. Let's go ahead and put that back in there. And let's start with this deck. This is a love reading for the sign of Cancer for July 2019. The first card you have, Cancer, is the Nine of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. Queen of Coins. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. Five of Coins. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. Six of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. Three of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. 10 of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. 8 of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. Page of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for July. And the Seven of Wands in reverse. Interesting. What's the most important thing that Cancer needs to hear about their love life for July 2019? The message that you have, Cancer, is a Nine of Cups. So this does represent a lot of happiness coming in for you. There are some kind of conflicting messages here, but I mean the main energy is this is bringing you happiness. This also represents perhaps a wish being fulfilled. So we'll come back to this card to see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. If you would like to get a private reading with me, just go to my website channelguidance.com and I'll put a link down below. Okay, so you have the Nine of Swords, the Queen of Coins, and the Five of Coins. So you have this earth sign here. This would be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. It can even represent you if you have a moon or rising in an earth sign. I mean, what I see around this earth sign is a lot of anxiety with the Nine of Swords. This represents a lot of worrying, especially kind of imagining the worst. So you may be imagining that this earth sign perhaps is leaving you. This could be your partner. This can even represent an ex. This is a lot of anxiety and a lot of tension around this person. You're imagining the worst. You also have the Five of Coins on the other side, which does represent kind of suffering. So it kind of definitely ties in with the Nine of Swords. Maybe you're suffering because you're imagining that you're going to lose this person. Maybe if you're already apart, this is an ex, you're suffering because you feel like they're never going to return. Keep in mind the Five of Coins also means that you just feel really disconnected from someone. So if you're already coupled, you're already married, you may feel like, we're not as close as we used to be, or they're pulling away from me. You might even kind of be feeling in the dark, and again, this is creating a lot of tension, a lot of agony with the sign of Cancer. Now, in the next row, you have the Six of Cups, the Three of Swords, and the 10 of Cups. So you do have, kind of something here that could either be a breakup. For some of you, it could be that you're watching this because there's been either a separation. It can be a separation or a breakup or a divorce. Now, let's start with those where you have broken up. If you have a partner where, maybe this is now your ex and you've broken up, I still see happiness around you because you have the 10 of Cups, which is a happily ever after. Not only that, but you also have the Six of Cups, which this is emotions from the past, memories from the past, an attachment to the past. So for some of you, it could be that, someone completely broke your heart. Maybe you broke up, but I still see you being very happy there. Keep in mind that the main energy is also the Nine of Cups. So you have the 9 and 10 of Cups. So it could be that maybe your heart was shattered by somebody, but you can still be happy with this person. That attachment from the past is still there. And again, with this top row, definitely ties in. It could be that you're doing a lot of agonizing over this person, whether it's an earth sign or not. For some of you, it can be an earth sign. For others, it's not. But again, for those where this is your ex, that connection to you, to the past, is still there, and there can still be that happily ever after. This can also represent a long-term relationship or a marriage. Now, if you had an argument or separation, that can also represent the Three of Swords. It just means that, you still have that connection from the past. Sometimes, I don't always get this, but sometimes the Six of Cups does kind of represent soulmate energy as well. Even if you separated, even if there's really harsh disagreements, that future with that person is still there. You can still be extremely happy. Now in the next row, you have the Eight of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Seven of Wands in reverse. So this is interesting. I mean, you have the Eight of Cups, which is, this is someone who wants to move on. This is someone that feels that they need to move on to be happy. So for some of you, it could be, that maybe your partner left you. I feel like these are different messages for different people, because this is a general reading meant for thousands of people who are watching this. For some of you, maybe you're thinking of leaving. Let's start there. If you're thinking of leaving a relationship, I mean, I feel like you're not really speaking your truth here. I mean, the Seven of Wands in reverse. I don't even work with reversals, and I don't know how this card ended up in reverse. You have the Page of Swords here, which means somebody really has to speak their truth. So if you want to leave a relationship or a marriage, and I see that here, it's not going to apply to everyone, so I'm going to give you another message in a minute. But if you want to leave a relationship or a marriage, now is the time to speak your truth about this. Because remember that you had the Wheel of Fortune jump for you at the beginning of the reading. And so this is saying July is a very lucky time for you. But not if you're sticking around somewhere where you don't belong. You also have the Seven of Wands in reverse. If it was upright, this would mean that you're really standing your ground. You're really setting boundaries. You're speaking your truth. But it's not. It's in reverse, which means that you're not really fighting for what you want. You're not really speaking your truth. So let's kind of throw the Page of Swords into the mix. And this is really saying speak up, speak up. Now for some of you, yes, it could be that you want to move on. But if you're thinking that's not me, I don't want to move on. And it can be maybe that you want to move on from the disagreements. Maybe you want to move on from, the energy we saw in the first row, the Nine of Swords and the Five of Cups. Sorry, the Five of Coins, where you're agonizing over a relationship. We see it right here. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of tension around the sign of Cancer, and even kind of suffering here. I mean, it can be kind of different for everyone. It could be that you just feel disconnected from someone, or you're just feeling really lonely or isolated. I feel like the sign of Cancer has to really speak up here. Page of Swords and Seven of Wands in reverse. Because although you're hurting, and I see that here right in the center of the reading, you can still be extremely happy. I just want to show you something that I just noticed here. Let's see. You got the Eight of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. So, I mean, when I see cards like this is a sequence of events. First, you need to leave a situation. Although, keep in mind, for some of you, maybe you just need to leave the past in the past and move on from that. And then a wish will be fulfilled, or you'll be extremely happy. You will have your happily ever after. So I feel like the sign of Cancer, I feel like you have some decisions to make. You really have to speak your truth if you are not happy, if you're suffering, if you feel like you're just not connecting with your partner anymore. Okay, let me get a few more cards. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for July? Four of Coins. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for July? Seven of Swords. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for July? And the Page of Cups. Okay, so let's look at these three. Yeah, I mean, I see the Four of Coins here, and to me, the Four of Coins, especially in a love reading, this means that you're holding on really tight. I just noticed the Four of Coins is next to the Five of Coins. So I feel like holding on really tight, either to a relationship that you really don't want to be in anymore, because you did have the Eight of Cups here. I mean, again, it won't apply to everyone, but if you're holding on to someone you really don't want to be with anymore, it's just bringing you more suffering. But keep in mind, the Four of Coins can also be that someone is holding back from you. It could be that someone is maybe resisting coming back to you. If there was a disagreement with the Three of Swords, this is someone who's being really stubborn and staying in their safe place. And if that's what's happening with you, maybe with your partner, with an ex, they're being their own worst enemy. The Seven of Swords can be self-deceit. It can be deceit. Maybe someone's not being completely honest about why they're holding back from you. Maybe why they're not committing. This is someone who is kind of sticking their head in the sand and not being completely honest. I mean, that could definitely be what we were seeing down here. If it's not you, maybe you're speaking your truth, but maybe someone who's with you is not being honest. I feel like they can. When you have the Page of Cups, this is communication from the heart. This is someone who's pouring out, everything that they're feeling. They're letting you know. Someone who had been holding back from you could be telling you exactly what is in their heart. And I feel like that is going to make this, whether it's a separation, a breakup, or a divorce, that is something that can heal this, whatever it is that's happened with you. Keep in mind, the main energy is a whole lot of happiness, the Nine of Cups. You being extremely content and having a wish fulfilled. It can definitely be mending a relationship, maybe getting an ex back. Again, someone who had been resisting you here. Maybe even someone who had been their own worst enemy. Someone who had not been speaking their truth. Okay, let's get a few cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for July? You have the Emperor. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for July? You have the Star. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for July? And you have this, wow, you have the Six of Cups going over the Six of Cups. You can see here, this is your repeat card. What's the most important thing that Cancer needs to hear about their love life for July 2019? The message that you have is the Hermit. So the Hermit can mean that you have a lot of thinking to do as far as maybe what you're going to do about your situation. Because I feel like something's going on here where Cancer is just, I feel like there's just something that's really worrying you, something that's really upsetting you. And it can definitely be that you're separated from the person that you love, or someone has broken your heart. I feel like something has Cancer kind of in a really difficult place, in a dark place. You have a lot of thinking to do as far as what you're going to do. Keep in mind the Hermit can also represent the sign of Virgo. So it can be your partner, or it can be an ex or somebody new coming into your life. But it just means that you have to search for the truth. It could be, you know, as far as what you want to do. Especially if you're thinking of moving on in some way. But again, it could be that you're also moving on from disagreements. So searching and seeing what the truth really is. Let's look at these three. Keep in mind that the Six of Cups is a repeat card. So for some of you, the past is really significant in the month of July. The Six of Cups can definitely be that maybe you're hearing from someone from the past. You do have the Page of Cups here, which is communication. This can be a declaration of love. You could be hearing that someone still loves you. This can even be, you know, somebody telling you, maybe somebody new. But the Six of Cups, this is the past. So either you'll be doing a lot of thinking about the past, someone from the past, or someone from the past is thinking about you. You do have the Star here, which does represent the sign of Aquarius. So if you have an ex who is an Aquarius, it could be that they're thinking about you. Now, I mean, the Star card usually represents hopes and wishes. And ironically, the main energy from the first deck is the Nine of Cups, the wish card. So I feel like what you want for the sign of Cancer, what you want is coming to you. It's just, what are you going to do about it? You have the Emperor here, which is saying you have to take control. It can definitely be that in order for your hopes and wishes to be granted, you're going to have to really speak your truth, because you had that really interesting message at the bottom of the spread with the Page of Swords and the Seven of Wands in reverse, as if the sign of Cancer is not really speaking their truth. You're not really saying what's in your heart. The Emperor is saying take back your power and really just take control of what's happening in your love life right now, and then your hopes and wishes will be granted. But this also means listening to your inner guidance. There's just something here from the past that's not going away. Like maybe you're not over an ex, or maybe for those who are already coupled, maybe disagreements that you have that just keep getting recycled over and over, and maybe it's time to finally lay the past to rest. I mean, for those of you who are not moving on, that's what this card represents. It's time to leave old emotional baggage behind you. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the X spread using this deck right here. I already shuffled it, so let me get these out of the way. And as always with the X spread, it can be someone that you had a long-term committed relationship with, but it can also just be someone maybe that you dated a few times and you just want to know if you're going to hear from them again. Let's see what comes up for you. Show me the energies around Cancer and their ex for the month of July. You have the Three of Pentacles, Cancer and their ex for July. The Emperor again, this is a repeat card. Cancer and their ex for July. The High Priestess, Cancer and their ex for July. You have Death, Cancer and their ex for July. Seven of Wands, which this time it's upright because this was in the first spread. Cancer and their ex for July. And the King of Swords. Okay, so let's stop here for now. So the repeat card that you actually have a couple. You have the Seven of Wands there, but you also have the Emperor, which was also in the first spread from the confirmation deck. So here you go, I'll put them there. So guys, let's focus on this first row. And again, this is for exes. This is for someone who is no longer in your life. You broke up for whatever reason and you just want to know, is there still a connection? Can we get back together? I mean, you have the Emperor here 2 times, so this is pretty much the most important thing that you need to hear. And this is saying maybe there's something that you need to do. That's what I was seeing in the first spread. Like there's decisions that need to be made. Maybe you need to speak your truth to your ex as far as, you know, how you really feel or how heartbroken you really are. Because you did have the Three of Swords right in the center of the reading, but you also had the Nine of Swords and the Five of Coins, which means that you're suffering and you feel like your ex abandoned you. The Emperor is saying it's time to take back your power here. It's really time to take charge of what happened between you and your ex. Keep in mind, this can all start with you, and really trusting your intuition, because you have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is all about, your kind of inner guidance. What is your inner guidance telling you about your ex? Is it telling you to move on, or is it telling you that there's still a chance for you? For everyone, it's going to be different. You start with the Three of Pentacles, which, this is telling you that as far as you and your ex getting back together and working things out, it's going to take a lot of effort. This means that you have to really want this, and you have to really work at it, but not just you, it has to be them. This is about teamwork, working together. So it could be that, yes, maybe you have to take your power back and take charge, but they also need to do this as well. But again, the High Priestess is saying, trust your intuition. What is your intuition telling you about your ex? Is it telling you that it's probably best you move on, or is your intuition telling you that they feel the same way? Maybe there's something you don't know as far as this person. Now you have Death here. So, this is something significant. There's still something there with your ex, just seeing Death here. Because this is always some type of dramatic ending and new beginning. So the fact that we're focusing on exes and a new beginning pops up for you, especially something like the Death card, is significant. So many of you can get your ex back. It can definitely be, this can represent the sign of Scorpio. But for others, it's just, a big transformation, this whole situation with your ex. This is your repeat card, because it was in the first spread, the Seven of Wands. This is you really standing your ground. I feel like for many of you, the reason you're seeing this card is because you will be hearing from your ex, but there's something that you really need to say. This is what we saw in the first spread with the Page of Swords next to this card, but actually this card was in reverse. I feel like if this person comes back into your life in the month of July, you don't just kind of give into them and welcome them back with open arms. It doesn't mean that you're not going to, but you really do have to speak your truth as far as maybe what they did to you, what you need to work on. Again, the Three of Pentacles, working together, teamwork. This means that you really have to set some boundaries, and you really have to speak up for yourself. For some of you, this could be with an air sign, King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, male or female, Sun, Moon, or Rising. But keep in mind, sometimes the King and the Queen of Swords come up for people who are completely out of touch with their emotions and their intuition. So if you have an ex who is kind of, that type of person, it could be that maybe you need to stand up to that. Maybe that's why the relationship didn't work, because they weren't in touch with their emotions. They dismissed that. But for others, it can definitely be an air sign. Let me get a few more. Let's see what other messages come up for you. What other messages are there for Cancer about their ex for July? You have the Sun. So, this card always promises success and love. So, just seeing this card alone is telling you that you can succeed in getting your ex back for the month of July. Let's see what other messages come up. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer about their ex for July? Patience. Although, keep in mind, Temperance can also represent forgiveness and compassion. So, again, with this card repeating itself, and then the Emperor, it could be, that maybe you were really hurt by your ex. Maybe there was something really painful. You had the Three of Swords in the center of the reading for the first spread. This can mean maybe that there is forgiveness that needs to happen. Maybe you need to take things slow. But I do see success as far as, a relationship with your ex again. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer about their ex for July? The Ace of Swords. So it could be, that maybe your ex has, a moment of clarity, a moment of truth, and they finally figure out that they made a mistake. Again, you still need to speak your truth as far as how that made you feel, what they did. This can also be that they're coming back to you with, a new perspective. Or maybe they need a new perspective in order for there to be a new beginning, because technically this card was pulled with Temperance, which does mean patience. Maybe you need to be patient as far as, waiting for your ex to come back, because in order for them to come back, maybe they need a whole new outlook. This represents the mind, thoughts. Maybe they need to look at love in a different light. Maybe they need to look at you in a different light, and that is what you're waiting for. But you do have the Sun. Success, love, positive energy. I feel like for many of you, you can get your ex back, but there's something that you need to do. I feel like you really need to stand up to this person, especially if it was something really painful. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the single spread using this deck right here. Let me go ahead and get these out of the way. And if you're somewhere kind of in between single, maybe you don't know if your ex is going to come back, This can definitely kind of give you some messages as far as, is there someone else? Is there someone better out there for you? But of course, if you're also just completely single, then this is for you. Okay. Can the sign of Cancer meet a new romantic partner in the month of July 2019? Page of Cups. Can the sign of Cancer meet a new partner in the month of July 2019? Nine of Wands. Can the sign of Cancer meet a new partner in the month of July? Queen of Wands. Can the sign of Cancer meet a new partner in the month of July? Ten of Wands. Can the sign of Cancer meet a new partner in the month of July? Six of Swords. Can the sign of Cancer meet a new partner in the month of July? Justice. Well, I feel like it's really going to depend on you. I mean, you have the Page of Cups. This does represent a relationship, a new person coming into your life. It can even be a fire sign, which would be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. Maybe you need to be open to this person coming in. You have the Nine of Wands, which means that you might be feeling really protective of yourself, really defensive. Maybe you don't want to open up to them. There's definitely somebody here. There's also, kind of a heavy energy around you, a burden. Maybe you're still thinking about your ex. Maybe you're not sure if you're ready to move on. You have Justice, which, usually it means that something has been unfair to you. So it could be, the sign of Cancer was heartbroken. We did definitely, we saw that in the first spread. Three of Swords, Nine of Swords, Five of Coins. I mean, there's something that has really hurt the sign of Cancer. Whether you're like totally single and you haven't dated for a long time, maybe that's for a reason, or maybe you just recently broke up. There's something there in that first spread, even though we're doing the reading for singles here. Keep in mind, this can also represent the sign of Libra. So it can be a Libra coming in. There's something better for you. The Six of Swords. There's just something better for you. This means that there's a healthy change coming in your relationship, in your love life. But, I feel like maybe life has not been fair to you. There's been a heavy burden. Maybe there was a difficult relationship, a difficult marriage. But I see a new person here, and I see a fire sign. Let me see what kind of energy is around this fire sign. What message does the sign of Cancer need to hear about this Queen of Wands? Well, Temperance does mean that you have to be patient. Take things slow. I mean, especially with messages like this in the reading. So I feel like Cancer could either be meeting a fire sign where you have to take things slow. Don't try to rush things. Be patient. You can also be meeting a Libra here. I mean, I feel like there's a chance here for you to kind of get the relationship that you finally deserve. Maybe, the kind of relationship that you thought you were getting with someone else, but that's not what happened. Maybe that's what this card is about. Maybe you feel like giving up on love. Maybe you're still kind of carrying a torch for someone. There's some type of heavy burden there. You're afraid, but there is, a relationship here. I feel like there's different people around you. You do have to be patient with this fire sign. You have to take things slow. And there can be definitely a Libra here. Let me check on this one as well. For those Cancers that are meeting a Libra, what kind of message is there for them? Look at this very carefully. I mean, the Page of Pentacles is telling you really, do your homework. Make sure this is the right person for you. For some of you, you're meeting the fire sign. For others, you could be meeting the Libra. Or it could even be another water sign with the Page of Cups. I feel like you have many options, but of course, 9 and 10 of Wands, you have to be open and ready to let this person into your life. Okay, Cancer, this has been your love reading for July 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.